Hey guys, I have my journal and my Bible here, ready to chat with you about 1 Corinthians 16, 1 through 4. It keeps coming up and I've been intrigued in looking into it more. It keeps coming up in the circles of tithing in the New Testament, tithing for the church. It also comes up in Sunday worship discussions, which I'm not going to go there. I'm for Sunday worship. I'm also for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday worship. I'm also for Shabbat, being on the Shabbat. But I'm going to read 1 Corinthians 16, 1 through 4. Now, in regard to the collections being made for God's people, you are to do the same as I directed the congregation in Galatia to do. Every week on Motzai Shabbat, each of you should set some money aside according to his resources and save it up so that when I come I won't have to do fundraising. And when I arrive, I will give letters of introduction to the people you have approved, and I will send them to carry your gift to Jerusalem. If it seems appropriate that I go too, they will go along with me. So I have 4 questions. I don't have all the answers. I have some thoughts, some suggestions that I found online. And if you have any answers, any questions, any discussion topics surrounding it, you're welcome to share and we can discuss it further. But my 4 questions: who are God's people? Verse 1 says it's a collection for God's people. Yours might say the saints or some other translation. 2, why just instructions for Corinth and Galatia? Okay. Why does it not say tithe or 10% if it's surrounding the tithe or 10%? And why bring the gift to Jerusalem? Why there? So, God's people, question number 1. Who are God's people? And that's not a generic statement, it just means specifically for this chapter, so I'm not into discussing who we all are and the theologies and so on and so forth. But while researching, I found a website that I don't totally agree with, but they made some good suggestions around this. The website www.scripturesay.com. Again, I don't totally agree with everything they say, but they suggest that the God's people they're referring to here are the people in Jerusalem that came because they're new believers and they came to learn more and they came to be in the center of this big boom of believers. Because again, in Acts, just a while back, there was that big booms of believers. So it could be them that this collection that the Corinthians were doing were for new believers, people that had come, that sacrificed job, family, lifestyle and everything. It's to support them, but it's also for the converts. In many religions, when you convert, you get kicked out of the family, you get kicked out of the community, you get kicked out of the religious assemblies. So it's to help those that no longer have that support system. It's also suggested that it's just a blessing, that this contribution is just a blessing. It reminds me of the covenant given to Abraham. Those that bless your seed will be blessed. Those who curse your seed will be cursed. And that's in Genesis. So, again, that's a suggestion on who God's people are in this chapter. But it doesn't say it's a contribution to the priesthood. It doesn't say it's a contribution to the Levitical priesthood. It doesn't say it's a contribution to the widows, orphans, the foreigner among you, or poor, which generally, that's who the tithe is for. And so that's why I'm not sold that this is surrounding the topic of tithe, because the tithe is set up for a certain system, and this isn't serving that system. So it just looks like a giving. Let's see. I have notes to read. Acts 11, 27 through 30. During this time, some prophets came down from Jerusalem to Antioch, and one of them, named Agab, stood up and through the Spirit predicted that there was going to be a severe famine through the Roman Empire. It took place while Claudius was emperor. So the Talmudim decided to provide relief to the brothers living in Yehuda or each according to his means, and they did it, sending their contribution to the elders in the care of Barnabas and Sha'ul. Sha'ul, Saul, or Paul. And this might be another reason there was a contribution. Maybe the famine reached Jerusalem during this time. I don't really know what the timeline is from this Acts portion to the 1 Corinthians portion. But maybe that famine was there. Maybe it's a contribution to that famine because there was already pre-organized, this is what we need to take collection for this. Just another suggestion. So then, question number 2, why just instructions for Galatia and Corinthians? Which I looked in Galatians, I didn't find anything that talked about taking up a collection. So I'm not really sure. I wasn't able to fill in all the blanks. For all I know, it's something that when Paul was in Galatia, they discussed taking up a collection. There was a system there that worked, that they were able to organize. And so Paul's like, hey, we did this over here. You guys try it. It worked for us. We're going to do this. But it's also not across the line. It's not like this is for all the different churches, all the diaspora, every congregation for generations to come. That's not in there. Not like the tithe, where it's for all your generations. So that's another reason why I don't think that it's a lasting, not that it's not a lasting command. I still think it's just an example to follow of what worked, but not necessarily surrounding a tithe. For question number 4, why to Jerusalem? Why Jerusalem? And so, kind of discussed that in the suggested answers for question number 1, is because that's where everyone was going to. That's where there was a boom of new believers. So the gift was going there, and also possibly because of the famine, and to bless. Let me see if I can find other notes. So I have verses for the biblical tithe, and it goes to the priesthood. There's the yearly tithe, and then there's a tithe every 3 years. I'll put that in the description so that you can look it up on your own. I'm trying not to stretch this video out too long. And then also 2 Corinthians 8. 2 Corinthians 8 is another, I guess it's where it's expanded on how this assembly took up a collection, how they divvied it out. It's an example of what biblical giving looks like from one congregation to another. That's what I'm noticing. These giving portions of the Bible, it's like it teaches you how to organize giving to another congregation. Or giving to other ministries, maybe even. So that's another one you can look up. 2 Corinthians chapter 8, just the whole chapter. Okay, more information. My husband has been researching the tithe. He's actually been studying the Bible and taking notes, and he has this huge document of notes and stuff that he's been learning. But specifically the tithe, he is looking for feedback. So if you're interested, you can message me or contact him by email. I'll drop the email in below. Let us know that you're interested in the tithe portion of the document for feedback. That's what we're interested in. We want to know what your feedback is, what you know. We're also interested, he's also interested in sharing the information with others so that we can discuss it more and develop a better biblical understanding of what the tithe is. And he also has a video on YouTube, Woven, and I believe it's Woven plus the Cohen Sadik, for his business that he launched last month. He's trying to do a program where the income from the business, and whoever wants to give and gift, he will send it through the Woven system. W is widows, O orphans, V US and Israeli vets. E is for emergency, and N is for needy. I think that's how the N broke down, needy. And then the coincidic. The coincidic will be the line that serves the Messiah during the millennial reign. So he's looking how to network and make this woven program accessible, but he's still trying to connect the dots. So I'll put his video below so you can see what his needs are to get this thing going, to have a place where we can all contribute and learn more. So thanks, you guys.